Good job. How are you? Whoa. Microphone go. All right. Hey, let's thank. Where you go? Let's thank. Ta-da. Microphone go. All right. Hey, let's thank. Where you go? Let's thank. Ta-da.
Happy New Year!
Halfway through.
Hi everybody! I had to say that. Good morning and welcome to the Wayside Sunday service and welcome to everyone out there. You may notice I am wearing a red allergy band. I just got out of hospital a half hour ago. I have been good. You remember last week I said I was feeling a bit blue and down? It continued to a stage where I didn't want it to go, unfortunately. So I actually put myself into the mental health ward. So for my own safety. And I appreciate their help and everything. It took me 2 days to get in there, but I got there. So welcome to a beautiful overcast Sunday. It's meant to be 29 degrees today. I don't know whether we'll fall by the way. And while you're in here at Wayside, you can't, if you haven't got a mask you may not sing, but if you've got a mask you can sing. And thank you to everyone for showing up. And now I will do my acknowledgement, but I am actually interpreting. I'd like to acknowledge the land on which we meet, the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. I'd like to pay respects to the respects to the elders, past, present and future. And welcome all here today. And welcome to all those people coming in who are late. And have a good service. Thank you. Enjoy the service, everyone. And have a good day out there too.
All right.
Someone over
Is that on?
give me a face mask.
Yeah, gotta get avoid a face mask. Hey to everyone at home, and hello to everyone who's made it in here today. Welcome, welcome, welcome wherever you are and wherever you've come from. Thank you, Sister, for giving us that acknowledgement of the country. Yeah, we're having a few tech problems with the microphones. We'll sort them out. I just think they probably just need new batteries, which we'll turn it on and off. That usually fixes most tech issues, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's as far as I've gotten. Let's also begin with a word of prayer. My eyes are not haughty, my heart is not proud. I do not concern myself with things too great and marvellous for me. Instead, I have quieted and calmed my soul like a weaned child that knows all is well when Mama is in. Oh God, for the wisdom of that child, we always ask. Amen. It's good to see some faces here, some familiar, some not so familiar, but it's lovely, all known. So we've got Carolyn, who's here. Sorry, you come in and I just point you out. She was attending here at the end of last year. Year before. I keep saying that, don't I? But obviously things kind of ground to a halt there, and so welcome back.
Thank you very much.
You'll recognise Carolyn from the online. She's always chatting away. Now she's here live. I'm sure Splinter and Karen are logging in from home as well, most likely. And it's good to have Claire with us again. Without the kids. You get a day off the kids and you come to church? Well done, yeah. All right. We're going to have a reading. It's not from the Psalms this week. It is from Isaiah chapter 40, verses 21 to 31. And I'm going to need a volunteer to come and read it out for me in a loud, slow voice. Thank you, Irma. Now this microphone is
Don't worry about the microphone.
confusing to read. Can you,
I can deal with those things.
as long as you probably go close to, well, if you stand there, that'll be good. Yeah. So
The reading comes from Isaiah 40, beginning at verse 21. Do you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood since the earth was founded? He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in. He brings princes to naught and reduces the rulers of this world to nothing. No sooner are they planted, no sooner are they sown, no sooner do they take root in the ground, than he blows on them and they wither, and a whirlwind sweeps them away like chaff. To whom will you compare to me? Or who is my equal, says the Holy One. Lift up your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry host one by one, and calls forth each of them by name. Because of his great power and mighty strength, not one of them is missing. Why do you complain, Jacob? Why do you say, Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, my cause is disregarded by my God? Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint.
Thank you. Thank you. just a reminder too that we are with Graham Long down at Bondi Beach and us up here at King's Cross. We're going to be doing more and more things together, and there's been already a beginning in that space. Graham is going to start a series on the Book of Jonah, and if you look online, if you don't get, there's another email called the To the Pumping Heart. If you don't get that, please come up and talk to me and I'll get you on that list. If you get onto that list, you'll see that Graham Long is going to be running a series, some more philosophy classes at some stage during the year, as well as some opportunities for us to study the Book of Jonah together. And we're also talking about a special outing in honour of Carol. Her daughter Anu is going to be taking us February 28th. Is the date we've penciled in. I'll send you more information about it, but we'll meet here. And Carol used to run these food tours of Cabramatta, and if you're interested in that, Anu's going to, we'll all meet here at 11:30, catch the train into Cabramatta, and she'll give us a tour of Cabramatta. She used to attend with Carol when she was a little girl, and she says she's memorised the tour, so we'll go and get a special foodies tour of Cabramatta and end up with a bit of a feast down that way. So can I just get a show of hands? Who's vaguely interested in something like that? Excellent. We're going to try and subsidise it. It's still going to cost about $20, $10 to $20 for you to come along. So please let us know. Save a bit of cash. We're Wayside will kick in some of the rest, but we just want to get together and get out there as a bit of a community. As long as you feel comfortable about catching the train, I'm sure you could all you could meet us there if you wanted to drive as well. But I think the train trips are part of that too.
Philosophy course, are they going to be recorded as well?
Yes, I would assume we will record those philosophy courses. Classes. It is a little bit far to come. It's another good excuse to escape for a few hours.
Maybe not on a weeknight.
Excellent. No, maybe not on a weeknight. So stay tuned for all of this. Bronwyn's back with us.
Hello. Lonnie's back, Ronnie.
It's good to have you all back in here. Look, we're up to 14, 15 days without a community transmission case, so sadly there was no easing of restrictions for worship gatherings. So hopefully that will happen in the next week or so. They're still being cautious and we'll abide with that. So, but it's good to have you all here. It's good to have you, those at home. And just to reassure you, even when this kind of opens up more and more, we're still gonna have a little online component too, because some weeks we all can't make it in. And I know Lisa's really appreciated logging on. I'm married to a 50-year-old now. How's that? Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah. You should congratulate her.
Did you get some flowers?
Yes, I wasn't really husband material as I was thinking about last week. When we before we were dating, we went on an immersion course, and we're in San Francisco. The one and only time I've been to America, and a part of the experience was to sleep rough in Golden Gate Park. And no money, no nothing, and we slept. We walked around and begged, and then eventually I found that you could just wait at McDonald's and people would leave food on their tray. So we ate there, and someone noticed me and slipped $1 in. So I grabbed $1, and Lisa thought that'll be good for later. Except I spent $1 on a cigar later on in the night, so I wasn't wasn't showing much promise as a partner then. I don't know what she saw in me, but thankfully she saw something, and the rest she's made. So it's good. But the birthday banner didn't last long with Lisa. It hands over to Andrew. So brother Andrew, your birthday is on the 12th?
Yeah,
Friday. So you will get all the birthday love.
Big 21?
We also want to compile a bit of a birthday list so we don't forget any of you. So please also let me know when your birthday is if I don't already have it on that list. That's a lot of announcements, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know what? We're not a charity, we're a community. See, charities do things for people, but communities do things together. We do things with. So we celebrate life, however it comes to us. So in that spirit, let's sing together. If you got a mask, you can sing. All right. So check your masks on, and we'll hand over to Adam and Taras.
What song do you want to do first?
What songs are on the...
I have found Your Love Feeds My
We ask
Soul.
the Holy Spirit, but I usually ask Tim. All right. Which one are we doing?
I have found your love feeds my souls first, but we can do
All right.
it. We can do it.
Carrie Ann, do you want to come up and help us?
What's next?
Wonderful world.
Wonderful world.
We ready
Is it
for
breathe up here? I was
wonderful
going to say what's wonderful world. Wonderful world. Wonderful.
Is that behind us? Yeah.
Myself. song. Thank you, everyone. And our last song is Breathe on Me, Breath of God. Just don't breathe too hard.
Thank you, Carrie Ann. Mr. S and Adam. Let's try for our first opportunity to do some open sharing. We'll do it this way. So feel free to come up and I will just put up your hand. Where have you been captured by the awesome this week? Feel free to come up and share. It's pretty awesome to see Josh here. Hey Josh, how are you? Have you got some awesome news you want to share with us guys?
Hey Josh.
You don't have to ask him twice to come up to the mic.
First off, this is something that most of you don't know, or no one knows it. On Thursday night, I was actually at the motel room where I was staying. And I couldn't sleep, which isn't like me. I normally sleep all day and night. About 4:30 in the morning, I heard some slapping noises coming from upstairs and someone saying, wake up, wake up. I went upstairs and it took 4 doses to wake someone up from a heroin overdose. The burst was blue when I got there, but if I had gone to sleep, he would have died. And
Wow.
I think that's pretty awesome.
Hey, you need to say that louder again. Say that properly.
End of July, I'm going to be a father.
How good's that? Yanni, come up. You got 30 seconds. Let's hear it.
One time I was very poor. I had no money. I didn't want to do that thing what my friends did. I was scared. And I'm the toughest guy around. I'm not joking. Those people went for windows and that. I didn't want to do that thing. I said, Lord, I don't want to do that thing. Don't like that. I want to like you. What should I do? I need money. I'm hungry. I'm going to die if I don't have money. Telling wasn't good, couldn't get paid. I said, please give me some money. All of a sudden, these many $5 notes came out. They were like Hell's Angels, but they disappeared. People, automatically disappeared. All these $5 notes. I had about 2 weeks worth of food, could pay my rent, everything. And from that day on, I learned the budget. I said, God, I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to do the right thing and not do that thing to make me poor. So I asked God, and the snake bit, I'm the guy that got bitten by the snake. I was almost dead. I prayed to God, what should I do? I had this pea kind of drink. I got 3 out of the die when you go to push. Every whole world. Liquor chloroform, and lollies and that, God, they make yourself have a diabetes attack, make them convey things that. 3 hours of walk, like I'm protected by the ones that protect here, the government generals, man.
Thanks, Yanni. Anyone else? Microphone's finally back at Wayside. Come up, brother, Frenchie. This is the, he calls himself the most handsome guy in Wayside. I think you might be right too.
My name's Grant. It's glad to be back. I've had a on and off affiliation with our Lord for quite some time now. I'm glad I've met my brother. Sort of brought me a lot closer to the Bible again, understanding his words. And it's just funny how he's always around and he just pops up in mysterious places. I was only telling Pastor this morning that 3 weeks ago I was sitting in a park, just lost in my own world. Complete stranger built his horn at the stoplights. I looked up, would you like to come to church, brother? I went over and introduced myself because it sounded like a friendly gesture. Well, I thought it was only just around the corner and this was over at Northcote. Well, we ended up at Liverpool. Got out there was all different Polynesian people around. Now this is going to be a humble, very sing-along church. I walked in, it was a Korean pastor and his daughter interpreting in English. Had a very glorious day. Came back the next weekend. You started your congregation again here. Just looking at the pamphlet. I always get I always say to the first pastor I ever had, look, I'm one of his lost sheep in the flock, but if you always leave the gate open, I'm sure he'll go on with that.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Say how much it's so lovely to be back. It just is, I miss this place so much when I go away. It's so good to be back. I feel it pulsing through my veins. It's just lovely.
Yes, you can say that from me.
Thank you.
It is so good that we're back together. It'll take me a few weeks to get it. I never want to get over how exciting it is to be together. Right? So, how wonderful. Desmond, can you come up and give us our gospel reading, please?
Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Simon and his companions went to look for him. And when they found him, they exclaimed, "Everyone is looking for you." And Jesus replied, "Let us go somewhere else, to nearby villages. That is why I have come." So he travelled through Galilee, preaching in the synagogues and driving out demons.
Well done, Dave.
Thanks, Des. Appreciate it. Do you know what I forgot to do because we're getting together is let's all stand and say the Lord's Prayer. And then after we finish, we will pass the peace by just turning around and namasteing each other, alright? But let's start. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Now pass the peace.
I love it.
Happy New Year.
Peace be with you. Peace be with you.
Nice to see you, Ronnie. Peace with you, Lonnie.
Peace be with you, brothers.
Peace be with everybody out there, God.
Yes, peace be with you. Thank you, Lenny. Everyone at home? Yes. All right. Have a seat. How good's that?
It's good to be back.
It is great to be back, Richie.
Absolutely great.
Thank you. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings, like with the wings of eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not grow faint. Jesus, when he woke up in the morning after a day of big action, spends the beginning of the day in prayer and meditation. You see, the purpose of prayer is progress, but it's important that we spend the time praying to recenter ourselves. You know, the whole purpose of withdrawing is to prepare us to get involved in the messiness of this world as it is, not to withdraw from it. It's to be more present to it for whatever it holds. We celebrate being together. We celebrate also the highs, but also the lows of life too. And today I was going to do there's an unlit candle here on the bench because we've just, someone who's been connected with us over the years has, who no one here would really know, but is known to us, passed away in Silverwater prison on January 27th, and we just wanted to acknowledge him, Andrew, his name is, and as his family prepared to take him home and to bury him as well. We pray because we're engaged with the highs and lows of life. His partner was going to be here, but I just think it was a bit too much for her to come. So let's just let's spend a moment of silence remembering Andrew. Early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus went out and he spent some time in prayer. He spent some time reconnecting. He spent some time getting away from the noise and the hustle and the bustle of everyday life. Life comes to us in the morning. We just need to be in a place where we're ready for it, where we can respond to it, where we will not hide from it, where we will take it for all its highs, all its joys, and all its pain as well. Prayer often has been used as a little tactic of delay. You know, there was a great video that went out last year where the Department of Thoughts and Prayers, and it's a very funny one by a very clever comedian. I can't remember his name right now. He's an Aussie guy based down in Melbourne. He always does a lot of play school sketches as well. You know, with the Department of Thoughts and Prayers, and it's a bit of a joke, and I encourage you to watch it. It's about 2 minutes on YouTube. But so often when we think about what needs to happen next, we say, let me pray about it. And we often use prayer as a tactic to delay it, which means I'm just not going to make a decision now. I'm going to slake it off into the future sometime, just so hopefully I don't have to deal with it. But prayer can be so many things, and I just wanted to take us through quickly through 2 or 3 of those things, and then we're done. That sound like a good? Sounds like a plan? Look, prayer is about resistance. You know, so often, you know, there was a man who was protesting in his city about his city's treatment of refugees, and he was protesting for years and years and years. Every weekend he would turn up there And people would often ask him, why do you do this every Saturday? You're not changing anything. And he said, I really hope, first, the biggest thing I hope is that my actions will change the world. But I primarily come every Saturday because I don't want this world to change me. So prayer is an act of resistance. It says, I don't want to compromise on the deepest values in my life, because there's so much noise coming, threatening, and busyness is probably the biggest thing that kind of washes in. We know what we should do, but just the everyday necessities of life quickly get into place, and we're off and we're running and we've forgotten and we drift from what we know is the truth that's on our hearts to pursue. Prayer can be resistance. When I first joined here, a few months in, one of the greatest joys of my life was to meet a beautiful old lady named Avery. And she was 92, was she 92, brother?
89.
89 when we first met. And she would often say, all I can do is pray, is that enough? Is that enough? It sure is enough. So often, my mum and dad pray for me and my 3 sisters every day. And now they pray for all of their grandchildren every day. And just knowing that is such a powerful thing. To know there are people out there praying for you. I was reading the story of an old grandma who, actually she was a young grandma at the start of this story, and she was housebound, and she said, what can I do in this world? I can't do anything. And then her pastor said, you should just pray. Pick someone and pray for them. So she was reading about someone in the newspaper who was in prison, who was trying to appeal, and it was falling on deaf ears, so she started praying for this person. And slowly her prayers started leading to letters and phone calls with the person in prison, and she would ring him up every day and say, don't lose hope, I'm praying for you, and they would write letters. And then he said, could you write to the prison board on my behalf? So she said, I'm going to commit to writing a letter a day. And so 20 years, it took 10 years. She wrote a letter a day for 10 years. Till eventually the prison board, who didn't want to reopen the case, said, if we don't open this case, we're going to keep getting letters every day. And I'm sick of this pile of letters. Her prayer led her into action and progress in this world. Just like Jesus went out in the morning and said, no, we need to keep moving. It's the same thing. Prayer leads us to action. It helps us recenter ourselves. It leads us to action. And they reopened this guy's case, and lo and behold, it was America. There's a whole bunch of evidence that wasn't treated properly, and the guy was released. What can prayer do? My goodness. Do you know, whenever we have funerals here and someone's mum is here, everyone always, if you're ever here at one of our funerals and their mum's here, you watch how all of our people will always hone in on the mum. Because they know that mums tend to just pray. Mums pray for their kids. And they know the heartache, but they also know the power of prayer. If you heard or were here when Phil shared, or if you can't, go online to our YouTube page and listen to Phil. Even when he was in prison, his mum was praying for him every day. And he said, Mum never got to see her prayers answered on this side of heaven, but they've been answered now. She prayed for him every day for 20 years. Prayer as persistence. And prayer as recentering ourselves on the things that matter, the things that are important. So often what threatens to wash in on us is me, my needs, my agenda. And prayer just helps us recenter ourselves by decentering ourselves. Does that make sense?
Say it again.
Prayer helps us recenter ourselves by decentering ourselves. We take me out of the middle. And it opens us up to others, to life, to responding, to being present. It opens us up for the ability to change. Now, Kira was going to be here. First time she would have come in a year and a half. She's grown about 1.5 foot taller. Now she's about this tall. And And she's not here today because she slept in. So, you know, tall people need more sleep. Yeah, I've realised this. It's us shorties that we're up at 6 a.m, 5 a.m, ready to go. It's I need so much more energy to just lie down. Probably takes an effort. Yes, for being short. She would tell you, she'd roll her eyes and make some dry remark, but she'd say, I actually can change. But it's not, every time I make a change, I think it's total and I think it's complete. But it's really just tiny change. But that's where the glory is. We can change. Slowly, can change. You know, last week we talked about, you know, when there was that, the week before, last week was Karen sharing so beautifully. The week before we talked about when Jesus says, repent. And so often we've taken that to mean, oh, we're so rubbish. You know, we're full of sin and we're useless. You know, we need to do some drastic things to make God like us again. But actually it just kind of more means just at the next stop up the road, just make a U-turn and turn around. And that's the whole process of change and transformation. It's slow. It's slow. You know, I heard a spiritual teacher saying, contemplation is having the awareness to allow God to give you as much reality as you can handle in that moment. Well, contemplation is the stillness and the awareness for God to give you as much reality as you can handle. We need to have it as a regular practice in our life. To not let the busyness of the day wash in. To begin each day anew. To make love every day like we make bread fresh in the morning. That will help us on our way to be better members of our community. I've just got the last 2 points here. Oh, that's right. Because life is here. Life comes for us in the morning. And our life isn't about us, but we are about life. It helps us remain open to reality. And that is a painful place to be because we're so busy trying to impose our sense of order and correctness onto what life should be, instead of allowing it to flow. So often my great sin is blocking the flow of knowing and predetermining how every interaction is or could be or should be. And sadly, sometimes when you're the boss, you can live with the illusion that you can control things. And that's clearly not the case. Thankfully, my gift is having teenagers who I'm in zero control of right now. They're beautiful gifts to me because they remind me that there's something so much bigger going on. And about remaining present to them. Because, you know, if we have all the answers, if we already think we have all the answers to every interaction, we have relinquished our relationship with the questioner. And we have lost our ability to be captured. That goes for our interactions, particularly with those closest to us. I mean, if I go home to Mum and Dad's house, I love it. I give Mum a hug. I shake Dad's hand and then he disappears into his study, which is how he rolls. He loves that. But then within 5 seconds, we can be fighting like we're 5 years old again. And we can say things because we think we already know the answers and how we're all set up. Family's probably the worst for it too, isn't it? You know, if I say that, I know she'll go off, and I know if he says that, she'll go off, and we'll all be off together. And, you know, we have all the determined spirit action, and there's absolutely no space for surprise. You know, Lisa turned 50, but I'm just meeting that girl for the first time every day. The woman I married 20 years ago, 20 years marriage, wow, is not the woman I'm married to today. And thank God for that. But the person you were 20 years ago is not the person you are today. And it's our ability to not take a snapshot of someone and call it the whole movie that is what opens us up to reality. It's that ability to get out of our own ways, to allow God to be God, and which is basically a funny way of saying, let's stop trying to be God. There's already God. Let's just try and get into the flow. Let's try and move at that frequency, that energy. And that'll show you what your heart's for. So prayer is an essential practice. Prayer is resistance, prayer is recentering, prayer is decentering, to get us back into the muck and the mess of this world. I have a great poem I would like to read you. Prayer is letting go, because so often life is coming at us and we're still holding on to the old stuff too tightly. So I'm just going to say this poem with you. It's a poem about a tree, and it's called The Sacrament of Letting Go. So I just want you to close your eyes while I read this to you. It's by someone named, let me give you the author. Her name is, oh, my eyesight's getting worse. Macrina Widerka. She starts, this is not the start of the poem, but she said, the freedom to let go is found in the feeling of being. It's important to have practices around letting go, to embrace new things, because big or small endings always feel like death. So here is the sacrament of letting go, and it's the blessing I will send you all out with today. It's a poem about a tree. Slowly she celebrated the sacrament of letting go. First she surrendered her green, then the orange, yellow and red. Finally she let go of her brown. Shedding her last leaf, she stood empty and silent, stripped bare. Leaning against the winter sky, she began her vigil of trust. Shedding her last leaf, she watched it journey to the ground. She stood in silence, wearing the colours of emptiness, her branches wondering, how do you give shade with so much gone? And then the sacrament of waiting began. The sunrise and the sunset watched with tenderness, clothing her with silhouettes that kept her hope alive. They helped her to understand that her vulnerability, her dependence and need, her emptiness, her readiness to receive, were giving her a new kind of beauty. Every morning and every evening they stood in silence and celebrated together the sacrament of waiting. Amen. Thanks everyone. See you next week. Alright, please have a great week. Let me know if you're keen about the 28th, but also if you want to get on that email list for all the exciting events and things we're going to be doing together with our Bondi brothers and sisters too. As usual, the offering bag's up the front. But have a great week. Stick around too. Thank you. Thank you.
And remember everybody, be safe and have a good week and love each other. And if you're not feeling, if you feel that that person needs a bit of love, ring them up or send them a message and tell them that you love them and that you're still thinking of them. Because loneliness can be a very bad thing and very hurtful. And I'm experiencing that. So just being here with all you guys, it makes me feel wanted and loved. And knowing that I've got all of you guys here, it makes me feel strong within. So just remember to send someone that feels down and lonely, give them a bit of love and say hello to them and let them know that you're still there for them. Okay, thank you.
Did I remember the plant? No, I forgot the
You did, Lani? No, Lani, I'm always ready for your last YouTube channel. It's a special there you go, Lani. Karen says, Lani really had
How's your week been? I got the memo.
Well, I just was so busy trying to bring things that you had given me that I kind of didn't go, where am I going and who I'm going to see? So I will bring it this week. But I will bring some. Oh, sweetheart.
When you say trading, is it a marathon plus a sprint motorcycle?
Just one thing on that screen, it won't go away.
I want to see if Karen responds to you. Wow.